everyone, welcome, happy Sunday night. Hope you've all had a great weekend. I'm just going to wait 1 or 2 minutes to see who's jumping on board so they don't miss anything out. How are you going with all your gratitude lists for each day? Hi Tracy, how are you, beautiful? Lovely to see you here. Exciting. Being asked back again to do another session. Hi Jodes, how you going? So thank you to Happiness Co for asking me to come back again. It's a real honour to be involved. Hello, how are you, gorgeous? Hope you've all had a great weekend and a nice relaxing Sunday. So tonight, hi Mel. Thanks guys for showing up. It's great to have your support. I really appreciate it. So I'm going to talk a little bit tonight about making a decision around your happiness. And it doesn't have to be as difficult as you think. Some of what I'll talk about tonight, thanks Jody, thank you. Hello, hi Natasha. Some of what I talk about tonight will follow on from what you may have seen me talk about a couple of weeks ago. I think a couple of weeks ago now. Still on the theme of giving yourself permission, because that is what I am all about, and that's where I work from. That's how I work with clients. Hey, Carolee. That's what I focus on when I work with clients is giving themselves permission, because nothing starts until you give yourself permission. So, Natasha, good. Thank you. So, those of you who are here from my Facebook community and my clients will know that I'm a bit of a truth bomb deliverer. I believe that for you to achieve your best, you need to hear sometimes what you might not have realised for yourself, delivered with love, of course. So tonight we're going to talk about one decision. Yes, Tracy, absolute truth. You know it. Apparently I've got the eyebrow. Making a decision around your happiness. So let's start with happiness. You know, what is happiness? And there's a difference between happiness and joy. And, there's a difference between a bad day and a bad everyday. You know, we can all have bad days. That's normal. That's how life is sometimes. And, we can move through it and get over it and get on with it. When we have a string of bad days, when we have, events that happen in our lives, or illness, or difficulties, adversity, it can sometimes get on top of us. And, hi Rachel, can sometimes get on top of us, and then we end up with, this tag of being unhappy. And again, it gets back to, what are you focusing on and where that will take you. So focusing on happiness can sometimes produce the opposite effect. There's so much pressure to try and be happy. And if you're concentrating on the fact that you don't feel happy all the time, it can have the opposite effect. It can produce more anxiety. And it can send you on a bit of a spiral, and there's such a thing as momentum. So thanks Carolee. So momentum, if you one bad thought can attract another, and so on, and you can spiral either way. Hey Abby, you can spiral down the rabbit hole, and that is something that I'm totally familiar with many times over. And even my husband, Phil, will sometimes say, he can just look at me and know that I've gone there, and he'll say, stop going down the rabbit hole. I can see where you're going with this. But the same for negative momentum is the same for positive momentum. One good thought, one new thought connects with a new thought and connects, and on you go and on you go. And you may remember last time I was talking about the reticular activating system, and it's in your brain, and whatever you are thinking about, your brain clicks into gear and says, okay, this is what she wants. I'm going to look for the things to confirm what she wants. She's unhappy. That's obviously what she wants. So I'm going to look for things to help her be unhappy, because your brain wants to give you everything that you want. So you will be focusing on those things and increasing the momentum. Love the Raz, exactly. It can do all sorts for us, can't it? So one thing that is really important to remember, and this has become, hey Tam, and this has become my mantra for this year, and it is that nothing is unfigure-outable. It's a big word. There's a book by it, and it's written by a well-known lady in the US called Maria D something. I think she's quite famous over there and on TV and social media and all the rest of it. And she wrote this book about something that her Italian mum taught her, and that was that nothing is unfigure-outable. So you can always find your way out of a situation. If you can't find a way out of a situation, the situation isn't over. You keep going until you find a solution. Either way, something will change and you will be able to move through it. Might not always be the result that we want. Nothing is unfigure-outable. Exactly, Jodie. It's not always the solution that we want, but it will always, continue to lead on to something else. So nothing is unfigure-outable. So remember that, next time you're having a really bad day, or you're having a string of bad days and feeling unhappy, nothing is unfigure-outable. So the decision that you make to determine your happiness or not is this. Hey, Shez. There's one question that you can ask yourself, and this is the one decision that you can make that will determine everything about your happiness or not. It is this. Are you a victim, or do you choose to empower yourself to work through it and get to the other side? That is totally up to you. You make a decision either way. Same as when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, I made a decision to be a survivor. So if you're unhappy, you make a decision. Do you sit and continue to be a victim of circumstance, and or do you turn it around, take responsibility and work your way through it and get to the other side? The two biggest things. Taking responsibility, and you choose empowerment. Yep, exactly, Jodie, exactly. And we all have the power to change things around. Are you a victim, or do you choose to empower yourself? Yep, the one big question to ask yourself, and the one big decision that you can make that will turn it all around. Taking responsibility for yourself means that you let go of blaming everyone else. I've got plenty of reasons. I've had plenty of reasons in the past to blame all kinds of people. Yeah, exactly, Shez. It's a choice. I could blame the fact that I lost my mum and my grandmother to breast cancer when I was 16. And I did use that as an excuse for a long time. I could blame my ex-husband for the horrible marriage that I endured for a long time. But he also taught me a lot. I chose to empower myself out of that situation. Anyway, I could go on and on about lots of things that have happened in my life, but I'm not going to do that. Happiness, your happiness is a result of your actions. So what are you doing for yourself? I do forget that though. I know, we all can do that, Shez, absolutely. It's all relative. We all have our moments, and we can't all be superheroes all the time. We still have our moments. We're human. That's what we do. It's part of the healing process. So happiness is a result of your actions. What are you doing to take care of yourself? Do you give yourself permission to be happy? Do you give yourself permission to heal? Hello, Rebecca. Good afternoon. Do you have, take action? Do you have calm or chaos in your life? What are you doing in your everyday to help you? Yes, exactly, Abby. This is very relatable as we prepare to go back to our normal. Yeah, what is normal for some people now who have been through so much? It's still a choice. So do you have calm or chaos in your life? What are you doing every day to help you go down that path towards happiness and joy? Joyful moments are really important, and the power is in the tiniest little things. One of my favorite things to do is to just go outside, lay on the back grass and just listen to the beautiful birds that we have surrounding us in the big trees that surround our property. It's just the simplest things bring me the most joy a lot of the time. Calm creates calm. Exactly, Tracy. Release resentment and everything changes. Yep, you know all about that word, don't you, my love? So creating meaning, what meaning do you have? What does happiness actually mean to you? Now, you may remember from last time when I spoke about how our brains create meaning and our senses are perfect, Katrina. Meditating, practicing mindfulness, growing. Yep, absolutely. Our senses are the first part of the process of creating meaning. What are we seeing? What are we? Gratitude. Yep, perfect. What are you seeing? What are you smelling? What are you tasting? What are you wearing? Do you wear clothes that make you feel restricted and tight? When I get home in the afternoon, my favourite thing to do is take off my bra, take my day clothes off, and my pajamas are on like that, and my slippers. The other day I broke my record, and 3:57 p.m. I was in my pajamas and my slippers, and it just makes me feel calm and relaxed. I move out of one situation and move into my home situation, and it's just a way that I can calm down. What are you eating? Yep, bras off. Bras off, Jodie. Absolutely. What are you eating? 95% of our serotonin, which is our happy hormone, 95% of it is produced in the gut. So what are you putting into your gut? What have you got going in there? Are you eating too much sugar? Are you eating or drinking too much caffeine or too much alcohol or whatever? You've got to really look after your gut. There is a connection between eating well and feeling better. The research and the science is all out there. You can go and look that up for yourself. Absolutely. Something else that is really, really important, and I learned for myself several years ago, and then was very fortunate to be able to see this person speak at a conference. But there's a concept and a book actually written by a gentleman by the name of Andrew Fraser, who is Australian, and it's called The Third Space. And the third space is the zone that you go into between whatever it is that you do during the day and home later on. Your third space is that zone in between those two zones. So, for example, before I was diagnosed with breast cancer, I would get home from work and, we had 6 kids at home. So I would be straight into cooking dinner and washing and making lunches. I would get home, I would stay in my uniform, my constricting uniform. Maybe I would put my slippers on, but often I would just walk in the door, dump my bags. Oh, good one, Tracy. Excellent. Got the work girls doing this now. Brilliant. So, I would get home and I would say hello to my husband, not even really engage with my kids, or I've just brought them home, but it was like, go do your homework. I've got to get stuck into doing dinner, get a load of washing on and getting the lunches ready. I wouldn't even stop. And sometimes it would be 9 o'clock in the evening before I would get out of my uniform and relax. Let me tell you, it is far easier for you and your family and much more calming if you do something when you get home. It just only has to be 5 minutes to go into your third space, to transition from your work mode into your family mode. So, for example, my husband, when he is painting houses, he will come home, have his shower, get changed, and that's his third space. It's his time out. You know, he says a quick hello and then he'll go off and do that. Now for me, going straight from one task to another without the pause to be me. Yeah, totally. So now I get home from work and I'll have a chat with my husband, and then I get into my, hello Rianda, I'm gorgeous. And then I'm in my pajamas and my slippers and I am happy. So remember, happiness is the result of your actions. So what are you doing when you get home? If you work somewhere else and then come home. If you're working at home, even more important too, to transition from that work zone into home zone or play zone. Hi Julian, how you going? Congratulations. The second, third space first, exactly right, Jody, really, really important to transition. The next concept I want to talk about is detaching your happiness from things. You know, often, hi Tracy, often we think we'll be happy when we get that perfect job, or when we find that perfect relationship, or we get that car, or we get that house, the perfect house to keep up with the Joneses, or we buy that dress. Yeah, check it out, Katrina, really powerful stuff. He's got some YouTube videos on there, really simple concept, it's great. So buying things, you know, it can give you obviously that initial hit of joy. It's exciting getting a new house and a new car and meeting someone new, the happiness trap. Yeah, exactly. Shiny object, exactly. You guys know what I'm talking about. And yes, those things create joy in our lives, but it will pass. It will pass. And you can still, a lot of the time, end up still feeling like something is missing, still searching for answers. You know, you get to the point where acquiring things never becomes enough. There's always something missing. You're always moving on to the next thing because you're still not feeling fulfilled. You can't quite put your finger on it though. You're not sure what the deal is, but you're just like, you know, what money doesn't buy happiness. Yeah, exactly, Rachel. So I set myself an experiment in 2019. Then you look for the next object. Yeah, that's exactly right, Jody. You go from one thing to the next. Beginning of 2019, I set myself a challenge to, short-term gain, exactly. So beginning of last year, I set myself a challenge to not buy any new clothes and no new shoes. The only things I were allowed to buy new was, of course, underwear. And if I needed anything for work, but I was still trying not to do that. And toiletries and things like that didn't come into it. You know, we need those things, obviously. So I couldn't buy anything new. I set myself that challenge in about February because I wanted to challenge my attachment to things and associating my happiness with that. And it was a very interesting experiment, and I learned a lot about myself. And I've changed my mindset around things and created this huge awareness around this. So anything that I wanted to buy, any clothes or whatever, had to be purchased from salvos, thrift shops, things like that. And, you know, every now and then I would have the situation where if I was in the shopping centre, I would walk, I can remember specifically, I think I was walking past Portman's or somewhere like that, and I looked in and I saw this jacket, and I immediately went, oh, I need to have that, you know, that'll make me feel good when I buy that. Yeah, so I listened to a John Kabat-Zinn interview today. He said, you will never be complete by trying to complete yourself with, sorry, I'm just going to try and read the rest of that comment, stuff outside of you. Yeah, absolutely. So I started in February and I got to about October, and the only thing that I bought new was something from a local designer who's a friend of mine, and I wanted to support her. So for the entire year, I think, until I got to like Christmas time and spending things for the kids and whatever, for the entire year, I spent $120 on new things. I spent, you know, 10, 20 bucks here from the salvos or whatever. But what I learnt and what I was able to do was to let go of the need to buy new things. And I realised that I much preferred to spend my money on experiences that bring me joy and contribute towards my happiness. So just, you know, perhaps try it. Have a little experiment with yourself. Next, you know, we're all doing a lot of online shopping at the moment. And yep, I have bought a couple of things this time. But it was hard, Jody. Yeah, it really challenged me because we all go, oh, I want that thing. That's going to be amazing. Or I want that dress. Or I want those shoes or whatever. You know, it passes, doesn't it? The initial joy of buying it. And it hangs in your wardrobe for how long? And then means nothing, doesn't it? So yeah, set yourself a challenge. See how you go. Even if you do it for a month or whatever. It can be quite confronting, but it's also very empowering. It makes you realise... you know, we can have a whole conversation about commercialism and consumerism and all the rest of it, and I'm not going to go into that. It's not about that. But yeah, challenge yourself and see how you go. I'd love to hear. What are you proclaiming in... Great, Katrina. What are you proclaiming in regards to dissatisfaction? Yeah, quick fix is what we seek. That's exactly right. What's your proclamation of dissatisfaction? What are you proclaiming to the universe that you are handbags? Yeah. What are you proclaiming that you are dissatisfied about on a regular basis? And if you stop and think, if you catch yourself every day and you know, think of what's coming out of your mouth, it's a very interesting process, and you soon start to notice it in other people and their behaviour and everything that they complain about. It's a real eye-opener. I learned a very valuable lesson. So Phil and I got married, as you would have, if you were watching last time, you remember I've been married for 5 years, second time around, and Phil and I had been married for 6 months and I was feeling dissatisfied. You know, we had the big house, we had the 6 kids, beautiful family, you know, married a beautiful man, loving, supportive husband, and I drove to work one day. I'd been there, working there for a number of years, and I was at the stage where I would say to my colleague, oh, here we go, you know, with a rat on the wheel, we're back again, same, doing it over and over again. And I drove to work this particular morning, I will never ever forget it, and I pulled up in the car, I sat there, I was disillusioned, dissatisfied, no joy, focusing on and stressed about everything all the time. And I sat there and out loud, I didn't care who was watching, out loud I said to myself, and I threw my hands in the air and I looked up to whoever was listening, and I just said, there's got to be something more, let me have it, I'm ready for it all. And 4 months later I was diagnosed with breast cancer. But in that has come a lot of blessings and a lot of learnings, and here I am now talking to you because I went through that journey. So be very careful what you are proclaiming out there. What are you putting out there? Be really careful what your proclamation of dissatisfaction is. How are we going for time? So moving on from that, core values. Do you know what core values are? Give me a thumbs up if you know what your core values are, because they're a really important process of how we should be making our decisions that know that you are connected to and that light us up. So there's a difference between core values and morals. Morals are our internal compass of right and wrong, and they are developed through our family environment and how we've been brought up. So we know, you know, by the time we're an adult, we have our own beliefs as to what is right and wrong, and that's our morals. Our values are what is important to us. Our values are what comes from within and are what we need to refer to make decisions, which contributes to our happiness. So for example, I'll explain the process. My top 3 core values are love, strength, and happiness. And there is a process that you go through to figure out what they are, because we have lots of things in our lives that we love, and we could all come up with a list of about 20. values: equity, kindness, and love. Beautiful, Katrina. So love, strength, and happiness. So when I make a decision, I refer back to my values and I ask myself 3 questions about my 3 values to help me make a decision. So for example, when I was asked to sign up for Happiness Aid Live, so my first question was, does it allow me to act from a place of love? Absolutely. Does it nurture my own inner strength and that of others? Absolutely. Does it make me feel happy to be involved in this? And does it help me make other people feel happy? Absolutely. So that was it was a big hell yes decision for me. So when you know what your core values are, you can make decisions in a way that are going to be contributing towards your path of happiness. It's a real biggie, really, really important. Hi, Helen. Lovely to see you here. So there is a process to go through and figure it out, and working with a coach can help you work through it. So getting to my final point for the evening, healing. If you are generally unhappy, and please let me just disclaimer, I am a qualified counsellor, but I'm not a therapist. And I don't know anybody's individual situations. I'm just speaking generally here, okay? And it's my insights as well, what I've learned. If you are generally unhappy, you have something to heal from. There are reasons why you feel unhappy. It doesn't just happen. There is a path that got you there, but there is also a path that can get you from there. Remember, happiness is a result of your actions. And getting back to your decision, are you a victim or do you choose to empower yourself? And do you give yourself permission? So, do you give yourself permission to heal? Do you give yourself permission to acknowledge that, okay, you've been through some stuff, you've got to this point, it's time to do something about it. Give yourself permission to heal. And there are several ways that you can do that. Before that, there are several reasons you've been through stuff in your life, or you have a medical condition or illness, or if you're like me, you've got the challenge of menopause. Thank you very much to chemo for that. You've got adversities that have led you to this point. So what do you do when you get to the point where you've made the decision that you're going to allow yourself to heal? You're not going to be a victim anymore. You're going to empower yourself. What do? There's lots of things you can do. Maybe you need professional help. Maybe you need to see a therapist. Maybe you need a coach. Maybe you need both. That was me last year. I went through some epic stuff in the middle of last year, and I was doing some really advanced healing work, and I was also working with a coach, and it was pretty intense, but I've done a lot of work on myself and I was ready for it. So, if you make the decision to approach professional help, then amazing, more power to you. And yes, it takes strength, but you just have to start. And then you build upon that and you feel better, and you keep going, and you can get there. So professional help or a coach or both, in my case. Hi, Bev. Do the work. This is your happiness. Take responsibility for it. What do you want? How do you want to feel? Make the decision. Decide what you want. If you want to sit back and feel yuck for a while, that's entirely your decision. If you're not ready, entirely your decision. You can still be doing small things each day to feel joy. Really, really important. Do you give yourself permission to be happy? Acknowledge the feelings that come up. They will come up. That's normal. We are human, and our brain processes stuff every single day. We all have feelings come up. I have feelings come up, and I have days where, thankfully, not anywhere near as many as I used to, but I still have days where I might go down the rabbit hole about something. And I know where I'm at. Oh, thanks, Marie. Thank you. I can recognize that I'm feeling anxious, and I'll say to my husband, I feel really anxious today. I just need to go and do something to help me through this, and I'm just going to sit with it, and that's okay. And I'll say, okay, I see you there, anxiety. I'm working around you today. I'm working through this, and this will pass. Only do what you are ready to do, but make sure you do that. Yeah, that's it. Commit. Make the decision and commit. We all, at times we all have that racing mind. You can't turn it off. So what do? Meditation, really important. As I mentioned last time, meditation will save you. Meditation will help you make a difference. In the long run, it's a practice, and you may feel like, yeah, absolutely use the tools in your toolbox, totally, Tracy. Yeah, meditation should be one of those tools, as I said last time. Really important. And it's a practice. It gets easier and you build upon it. Distract yourself. If you're really feeling like you're stuck in an anxious state or something similar and you just can't move on from it, distract yourself. Little things are really powerful. Change up your brain. So one of the things that I include on the written program that I will provide to a client is to drive a different way to work, because you need to use your brain to do that. You're not on autopilot. Have you ever had that drive where you can't remember getting there? You know that you drove there, but you can't remember getting there. You need to change that up, because that's not helpful. So you can do things like when you're cleaning your teeth, and this is a thing, you may laugh, but it is a thing. When you're cleaning your teeth, use your other hand or stand on one leg. So highway hypnosis, yeah, exactly right. So yeah, do little things like that. Do things that are not familiar. Do things that require engage your brain and it can't get lost in ruminations. Yeah, absolutely, Katrina. Change things up, simple things. Brush your teeth. I'm right-handed. Every now and then I brush my teeth with my left hand, and you have to concentrate on that. Deep breathing. You cannot deep breathe and focus on something else at the same time. Your brain can only think about one thing at a time. So I did this as an experiment at work the other day. I was typing on something and working on my book, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, I was typing away doing something, and I just thought, I haven't stretched, I haven't breathed deeply for a little while. And even I noticed I couldn't do the deep breathing exercises while I was still trying to concentrate on my writing. You would have toothpaste all over your face. Give it a try, Katrina. You'll be right. It's easier than you think. It just requires focus. If you do that, as Tracy said, if you do that highway hypnosis, then, drive a different way to work. Put your favourite music on so that you can be mindful and be concentrating and stop that cycle that keeps going around and around and around. One thing that's also really important, never ever stop working on yourself. We always have stuff to work through. Always, always. Even, I have been working through stuff for 20 years and I've had a lot to work through, but I still have stuff coming through. Just as an example, the other day, I had an insight into something about myself, and it's something that I have thought about for many, many years. Yeah, me too. Mine's electric, Rachel. It's all good. Many, many years ago, when I was in my early 20s and I was living on the Gold Coast, I was away from my family. I was working really hard, and it was Christmas Day. I had double booked myself with plans. I had worked in the morning on Christmas Day, and I was going for lunch, I was going to see some family friends some parents of some friends that we'd grown up with early and when we were young, because they lived up there as well. And I'd also made plans to go to a friend's house. Yeah, sometimes not going backwards is progress, yeah. And work finished late. I didn't have a car at the time. I had to catch buses everywhere I went. So work finished late. I got to that first house late, and then I ended up being very late to my friend's house in the afternoon on Christmas Day. And she was incredibly angry with me because I hadn't been there on time. And I wasn't confident enough within myself to tell her what had happened. She was just so angry. I couldn't even speak. I felt awful. What I didn't realize is that day, I've never forgotten it, and every now and then I go over it and over it. That day has created in me the feeling that I can't be late anywhere I go because I feel like I'm letting them down. Now, I'm 49 years old, turning 50 in a few, hey Shaz, turning 50 in a few months, and that happened a very, very long time ago, and I just figured out the insight around that the other day. So don't ever stop working on yourself. There is always something to come up and work through. So for me, you know, now I can just forgive myself for feeling like that around being late, because it's a feeling of not wanting to let people down. Yeah, Rebecca. So if you think back, you might be able to connect it with an event. So if I can go through everything that I've been through in my life, and, you know, losing my mum and my own cancer journey is just one part of my life that I've been through. There's been lots of stuff squashed in between all of that. If I can come through all of that and find my happiness, anybody can. You just need to make the decision and ask yourself, do you want to continue being a victim, or do you want to empower yourself? You make the decision. You have the power. Be proud of yourself and where you are right now, and everything that you have been through, and everything that you are willing to work through and take responsibility for. Anxiety sometimes overtakes me. Yeah, Tracy, I get it. I'm there. So that's it from me tonight. Please message me if you have any questions or want to ask me anything. I just want to mention that next Sunday morning is Mother's Day. I'm going to be doing an Ask Me Anything session live. It'll be 9:30 Perth time, 11 o'clock Adelaide time. It is Mother's Day, which is very interesting for me, referring to always working on yourself. Mother's Day has always been a big trigger for me after, you know, losing my mum so young. So when I booked in the session for Sunday morning, I didn't even realise it was Mother's Day. So very interesting. So thank you, Happiness Co, for giving me an opportunity to work through something that's very directly related to me. So next Sunday morning. So I will be answering questions on that session. So you can, it's called Ask Me Anything. So you can ask me anything. You can ask me about me. You can ask me about you. Whatever, just send me through some questions, and I will see you next Sunday morning. Thank you so much for jumping on, and thanks for all your support and all your lovely messages last time. And to all my beautiful friends and clients who are here watching tonight, I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful Sunday night. Have an amazing week, and make the decision to be happy and look after yourself. Much love. See you later.